Hey everybody, this is Tyson.
And Logan.
And you're listening to Dad, Bods, and Beards podcast. It's a show that gives you a fresh look on being a father, a husband, and honestly, a man being in today's world.
For people who want to have a good time, laugh, and be uplifted, thanks for subscribing and listening. Now for the show. Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Dad, Bods, and Beards. It's just Logan and Tyson in the studio today. No guest, but we do have kind of a fun episode today. We're going to talk a little bit about humor and how it helps our mental health. It's not going to be as heavy of an episode unless one of us starts crying. Which
you will.
Probably me. But before we get started, you guys have heard about
Crying from laughter.
Crying from laughter. You guys have heard a lot about Mountain Ops last couple weeks, our primary sponsor for the show. But I wanted to throw a bone and talk about the company, the sponsor that really helped start all of this, which is Copper John's Beard Company, now officially known as just Copper John's, because it is an entire grooming company.
We have the domain Copper John's.
Yeah.
We just got to introduce it. Like, we got to get it so that goes to, yeah.
It was copperjohnsbeard.com. Now it's just Copper John's.
Well, don't say that yet because we bought the domain, but we haven't put it in yet.
It will be. Don't search it yet.
Or search it because it's simply just a fly fishing lure.
Yeah. So, I was like battling on the way here. I'm like, which one do we want to talk about really quick? Because there's so many different products and they're all amazing, right? They're all natural. They're all amazing. But the big one I wanted to talk about really quick, and you're going to have to give us a snapshot because you're the brain, is the revitalizing hair serum. So how is this one different from a beard oil?
It is a beard oil. It's 100% a beard oil, but it's also just like every other beard oil. It's also really good for your skin. That's the whole point of beard oil. And so women and men alike can use it, and it's a heat protectant for you. It gives, what I tell everyone is always going to give you the perfect ecosystem for your skin, on your skin, to allow your beard to grow, to allow your head to grow, flourish. Not your head. You don't want your head to bump. Your hair to grow. And so men and women alike will take it, and it is an amazing thing. So I tell women to take a good drop and put it in their scalp about 30 minutes before they get in the shower.
Yeah.
But it has mongogo oil, sachi oil. It has tons of really good oil in there that allows that to help nourish your skin, nourish your hair, and to create that environment. And then on top of it has caffeine and the minerals. It has peppermint, rosemary, lavender, cedar. So it just stimulates the growth of your hair. It's antifungal, so it's going to get rid of all the dandruff you might be having, anything like that. It's just a really, really good oil to help your skin just be perfect.
The big difference is, you guys will see, we've all seen the social media posts of the companies that tout this magical hair grow oil and the little pokey thing you're rolling all across your face. This is not that. This is what that wishes it was, in my opinion. It is a revitalizing hair serum for anywhere that you want to grow your hair healthier, thicker, fuller, and longer. I've been using it since I shaved my beard off on Father's Day, and it's only been a couple months. Obviously, genetics plays a lot into it, but we can't officially say this yet, but we have had some people that have had medical reasons why they've lost hair that this has helped significantly grow that back. So go on copperjohnsbeard.com. You can find it at Copper John's on all the social media platforms with links to the websites where you can find the revitalizing hair serum. It comes in 2 scents, a lavender-based scent and a cedar peppermint-based scent.
And we're going to be introducing a coffee scent because coffee, essential oil coffee, so good for your skin.
Yeah. So the caffeine is really going to wake up your hair follicles. It's going to spring them forward. But the reason we're having Copper John's as the primary sponsor for today is because if you're listening to this episode, you get a special treat.
Yeah, so normally we're going to have Dad Bods. That code, Dad Bods, is going to be normally 20% off for our listeners and all that. But now, just for this coming week, the first week that it comes out, it's going to be 30%, which I don't do. And so, but I wanted to say thank you to everyone. Thank you for listening and give them an opportunity to purchase something like our ball wash.
Ball wash is another good one.
It is.
So, in honor of the fact that Dad Bods and Beards would not be here if Copper John's did not exist, do us a favor, check out, it's not just beard growth oils or things like that. There is a whole slew of products that my wife uses. Check out copperjohnsbeard.com, use code DADBODS to get 30% off, and you're only going to get that because if you listen to this episode, we're going to tease a couple of things and people try to get them to listen to the episode to get it. But So all that aside, we've been talking pretty heavy about some pretty heavy subjects for a while. But we almost every episode that we laugh, though, we do have like a chuckle or two, or some dark jokes, or somebody ends up naked in the back of a cop car. But today we were talking about, well, you've had a really heavy couple of weeks.
I have.
I've had a really heavy couple of weeks, just life and work and businesses and family and emotions. You've called me and talked to me about a bunch of crap that's been going on with you. I've called you almost nonstop about the crap that's been going on with me. And I feel like every time you and I talk in a lighter sense, like it ends up alleviating some of the stress or some of the pain, because it's like just the laughter, right? Let me say laughter is the best medicine. So see you guys next week. I was like, that's for your cue. You're supposed to start talking.
I know. No, that's just...
You're like that was the point. It was just gonna be awkward.
Yeah. Let's just stare at each other for 20 minutes and see what everyone says. Who blinks first?
Yeah.
Actually, I would lose because you have the weird.
I have the ability to keep my eyes open for a disturbingly long period of time.
No, it's true. It's like awkward, weird. Okay, anyway.
I'm just staring at you.
So you did some Googling and researching, and I did some
with
Googling.
the safe search filter on.
Oh, I never have safe filter on. I want to hear about stress relief in the most awkward. No,
you're like, stress relief not safe for work. Oh my gosh!
So stress relief from laughter is no joke. So basically, this is from the Mayo Clinic, and they talk about how like laughing really is, and being happy really does change your life. And so basically, stress relief from laughter, it does have short-term benefits.
Yeah.
Stimulates many organs. It enhances intake of oxygen-rich air, stimulates your heart, your lungs, your muscles, and increases the endorphins that are released by your brain. It activates and relieves your stress response. It soothes tension. So it can stimulate circulation and aid muscle relaxation. And then also long-term effects. It improves your immune system. It relieves pain, increases personal satisfaction, and improves your mood. It really improves your mood.
Mood.
No, your mood.
How do you spell mood?
Mood.
MEWOOD. Mood.
No, but it says many people experience depression. I know I have, and I do on a very regular basis. Sometimes due to chronic illness, and then laughter can relieve and help lessen your stress, depression, anxiety, and may make you feel better and happier. It can also improve your self-esteem.
Yeah.
Weird, right?
Yeah.
So what's the difference between, let's move forward before we do this. What's the difference between self-esteem and
confidence?
Self-confidence.
Oh, dude, that's kind of a difficult question.
I don't know why I asked that, but I'm really curious. I know the difference.
I think they're similar, right?
Uh-huh.
So I think confidence is how you like project, and maybe self-esteem is how you feel when you're by yourself.
So I believe self-esteem is something that you earn over a long period of time. Like you're not going to ruin your self-esteem by, like, say you're on this diet and you decide to go eat something that you should have, and that's not going to really hurt your self-esteem because you have, over a long period of time, you know who you are. Yeah. Whereas self-confidence and everything, that's, I didn't wake up early, I hit the snooze button, and it kind of makes your demeanor and everything lower for that day. And so over time, if you continue doing that, your self-confidence will lower, but so will your self-esteem. But if you just continue doing the things that you know, living your values and continuing to grow, your self-esteem will raise too.
Interesting.
Yeah.
That was way more complex than I thought it would be.
Yeah.
Where'd you read that? You're like, I made it up.
No, I taught sociology.
Oh, duh. So one thing I wanted to touch on, right? So it's like, this was my kind of search trail was going down. I ended up on like some Reddit boards and things like that, talking about like, why is it that the saddest people are almost always the funniest?
That is actually, I'm really curious about this.
Yeah, right. So pretty much there's not, I mean, it's a lot of speculation. There's not really, I'm sure there are some studies and things like that, but we've talked about this before, like with Robin Williams, right? We talked about the saddest clown obviously sometimes brings the happiest laughs. And I think it's because it kind of ties back into self-esteem, or ties back into like self-confidence, what you're talking about a little bit, where when you feel, I think, so dark and heavy and upset on the inside, when you do get those laughs, it's almost infectious, right? And then it boosts your self-confidence. If you can get someone to laugh, then it just, human connection, you almost feel this like sense of acceptance and this sense of like, oh, they like me, because you have such a hard time accepting and liking yourself. So the kind of trail that I went down was, when you have such a hard time creating the serotonin and the dopamine and even like endorphins and things like that in your own brain, you kind of have a hard time finding one of those, like upping chemicals, that it's easier for you to kind of like inflict that in a positive way on somebody else. Because there is on Psychology Today, there's 4 main categories of humor. There's I can't read. Affiliated humor, self-enhancing humor, aggressive humor, and self-defeating humor. Right? So we've talked about
What's aggressive humor?
We can read it.
Is that when I slap you and I laugh?
No. So starting at the top, affiliative humor, tendency to share humor with others, tell jokes and funny stories, makes others laugh, uses humor to facilitate relationships, and puts others at ease. So that's just like general funny humor, like maybe dad jokes, things like that. Self-enhancing humor is a tendency to maintain a humorous outlook on life, even when with others. You use humor as a coping mechanism with stress, to cheer oneself on or cheer oneself up with humor. Aggressive humor is the tendency to use humor to disparage, put down, manipulate others, use to ridicule, offensive humor, or potentially use a sexist or racist joke. And then self-defeating humor is a tendency to amuse others at one's own expense. Self-disparaging humor, laughing along with others when being ridiculed or teasing, and using humor to hide one's true feelings from yourself and others.
So what is my kind of humor? Because it seems like I'm always doing the humor when everything gets really, really serious, and all of a sudden I'll throw in like a random joke, like you on Viagra when we're talking about medicine.
Taking a little pill. And
like,
have we told that story
I
on
don't
here?
think we have. So we'll talk about this. So we were on a podcast.
Yeah.
And she, bless her heart, was very, very serious. Like, she's like emotional and all this kind of stuff. And and you're talking about, with your bipolar and how you're taking medicine and how without this medication, you'd be a different person.
I said that, I said, and with the help of just one little pill, I was like, it can, I was saying something of like, it can keep me present or, like alive for my family or whatever. And you pretty much, you make a joke about it being the little blue pill.
Yeah, and I'm like, I know. Seriously, I don't know what he would do without that Viagra or something
or
like
you
that.
said without that little blue pill. Or no, I think you flat out said Viagra.
I said Viagra. And then
it went dead silent.
And I'm like, which makes it even funnier for me.
This was, I think, one of the first podcasts that we were ever on as a
and
duo.
We haven't been invited.
As a duo, yeah, as a duo, kind of promoting Dad Bods and Beards, and it just was like, well,
no,
I mean, I was laughing on the inside, but I was trying to be like, but no. So I don't know if maybe that falls under like, I don't know, maybe that's like aggressive humor a little bit because
I'm making fun of you. But it's not true, and everyone knows.
Oh, I know, but see, obviously, Psychology Today takes.
You're 34. If you have Viagra, you have more problems. Everyone who's listening is like, wait, what?
This is not sponsored by Viagra. But I don't know. I feel like obviously Psychology Today takes a very like analog, binary approach of like this, and this. There's probably a lot of subcategories and gray areas where a lot of these bleed over. But I would say it's probably a little bit along the aggressive humor line.
So
right?
My humor is really aggressive then.
Well, you've said this before that like one of your like signs of love is you kind of like
make fun of them.
You kind of pick on people. It's a dad thing. I pick on my kids all the time. I love calling my kids like booger butt or like, stinky, like whatever. Like my dad did it to me. Obviously, as I got a little bit older, he had to be like, Dad, you stop calling me chubby. But
I have 2 girls, and this is probably TMI, where they'll go and punch each other's boobs. And I'm like, stop it. And like,
you know what?
But I'm like, when I was a kid, I was always like,
Well, I mean, I slap you all the time. Or like, but you know what TMI stands for?
Too much information.
Tell me immediately. Tell me all the details. But I think that, so when it comes to depression and other like dark spaces people that are in, that maybe someone like Robin Williams or other comedians or people who had come out and say that they dealt with mental health issues, but they were still very funny. And it's very confusing for people.
Yeah.
How can you think of something so funny and bring so much joy and so much light into someone's life, but obviously you're so dark that you would consider, or even like Robin Williams that did follow through with taking their own life, that that's where like that self-defeating or self-deprecating humor comes in. I mean, I use that a lot in my own social media. I make fun a lot of my mental health and mental illness issues because it's relatable. And one of the things that I find a lot of joy in, and it's even almost therapeutic, is if I can make someone else laugh that may be in a similar situation as me, that makes me feel better because I know how dark that feels. And so I know what it feels like to get a little bit of a release or a little bit of a dopamine, or a little bit of serotonin or a little bit of an endorphin rush, because you just can't pull yourself out of it sometimes. So if I can help pull someone out a little bit, I'll tell a joke about myself all day long.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's why I have Taco Bell all the time.
Why?
We're going to have that release.
Oh. See, this is what we're talking about, is that like, I think, and I don't have a problem with it at all. Like, I think I've learned this a lot about you, is that like, I mean, we told a story about the night that I disappeared 7 years ago, and I ended up.
I'm so sorry.
No, I think it's funny. This is, if you guys haven't, if you're fairly new to the show.
What was that?
Fairly new. If you're fairly new to the show and you haven't listened to some of our older, more cringy episodes where the audio is really bad.
We talk about flaccid phobia.
Yeah, I think we were trying to find our voice a lot. One of the stories we did talk about was like my journey with bipolar. And
But by the way, that was the most powerful one. I
Oh.
still think that's like the most powerful.
I can't
Like,
remember the title.
I think I talked 10 words,
Yeah.
but it was so insightful and it was so powerful to me that I didn't want to ruin it.
Yeah.
Like you opened up and it was like your first time you said like, you've ever opened up like that, and I'm just like, I can't ruin this.
Yeah, I think I kind of had to like get some permission, I think, from my wife to talk about it.
it was very.
I think
powerful.
I got the permission after I talked about it, though. That was the problem.
Yeah, but Tommy, no, it was just
This was
me and
pre
you.
Tommy. I think this was even pre.
No, this was just me and you.
Yeah, well, this was one of the first beginning episodes where I think this was even before Jace was helping us.
Yeah. This was when you were recording, or you were.
No, it was right before that. It was when
Okay.
the other person was helping us out a little bit. But anyways, that one, the point that I'm bringing that up is I'm telling the story about Officer Katie Cooley. She's now Katie Muella. We've stayed in contact. She was the person that was able to help bring me down off of the manic episode in the parking lot of this pharmacy. And she was like, look, if you get in the back, she's like, if you let me take you to the hospital, we'll get you in through the back door. And it's the first time I've ever been in the back of the cop car, and I'm telling this story. And I said, and I get in the back of the cop car voluntarily, and you're just like completely naked. I'm like, tears are rolling down my face, and we're telling this story. It's the first time I've ever publicly shared my like almost life-ending night, and you're just like, and you're like dark humor joke, but it's like it's because that's how some people process hard information is, and that's not any any detriment to you. It's sometimes people have to like things can almost get too heavy that they like have to make a joke.
I do.
Yeah.
Kind of like Chandler from Friends.
Yeah.
Like he always made it awkward in the show.
I love Chandler. I mean,
And he loves you.
rest in peace,
He
dude.
called me last night
He can't
because
he died. Way to make it awkward, Tyson.
oh,
But
that's sweet.
no, so that's I feel like I don't really do self-enhancing humor.
I do.
I don't really build myself up through humor.
I just said I'm going to lose 300 pounds to enhance.
Oh yeah, yeah. We're not gonna talk about that one. That's a different pill. But I feel like almost everybody uses affiliative humor, where we're gonna do that actually in a couple minutes. You guys have seen the trend all over social media where people are telling each other like dad jokes or funny jokes or just really bad jokes to try to keep the others from laughing. And I think in hopes of having a little bit of a lighter episode where we've still touched on some like heavy points, we're gonna do in a few minutes. We're gonna attempt to. I don't think it's gonna go very well at all.
I won't laugh.
I think we're gonna crack up.
I don't laugh at all.
Okay, don't be a jerk. Laugh if you can. I put a lot of effort into getting
I
these
will
jokes.
just think of a slowly drowning puppy in the lake.
Wow. Another category on here is called Tyson humor. So,
Speaking of puppies, my wife loves dogs more than like animals, completely
Sure.
animals. And we were driving the other day, yesterday, from the lab to our home.
did she hit a dog?
No. The dog was like a mile away. Really, it was like 10, 15 yards away, digging up a hole in the side of, like, slow down, you're going to hit the dog, you never know. And I'm like, what the crap?
Have you?
I was laughing so hard because I'm like, where's the dog? Like, she had to point the dog out, like, seriously, like in 2 neighborhoods.
She gave you the wife, like,
Yeah.
with your hand up, like,
And I'm like, I know you love dogs. Like, I promise you, we're going 25 miles an hour. If it
Yeah.
like darts in front of us,
well, you're like me. You got 2 dogs. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, you guys love dogs. Have you ever hit a dog?
I have. It was hard.
Dude, I got one even worse than that. I was driving my dad's truck. This was probably like 9 years ago. We were still living in California, and I borrowed my dad's truck to do something. It was maybe 8 years ago. Whatever, doesn't
This
matter.
was pre-naked behind.
Yes,
me.
pre-naked cop car. That didn't that didn't happen. But my dad has a Dodge 3500 1-ton diesel, kind of like where me, my dad, my brother were just big diesel truck guys, and he has a Dodge, and it's a big. I mean, you've seen it. It's this big, heavy truck, and I'm cruising down this road, and out of nowhere, this dog, I see it walking on the side of the road. And it's just getting a little bit later at night. And it's just like the perfect worst timing in the world. He just like, and left turn right in front of me.
Oh, wow.
And I just obliterated the little guy. I think it was like a corgi mix or something. Just a little short, stubby leg, chubby boy, right? He and I really connected.
Wow.
Literally connected. Anyways, and I get out and I'm like, I'm a dog person. And I got kind of emotional. And I felt really bad. And I look at his collar. He's got an address and a phone number. And so I scooped a little guy up and my dad had a cardboard box in the back of his truck. And I put it in there. I'm not crying. I'm burping.
Yeah.
Ow. But I kind of lay him on the box, and so I drive over to the guy's house. And you ever met one of those people that are just very different personality types that they almost don't have some, I don't know, situational awareness, or they don't have like normal conversation skills. And I was like, hey, I'm really sorry. He lived in the neighborhood, literally like 3 blocks down. I just hit your dog out on the main road. And he's like, oh, is he okay? And I'm like, I just hit your dog that weighs 25 pounds in an 8,000 pound truck. I was like, no, he's not. I was like, he's gone. I'm sorry. He goes, oh, well, can you help me bury him?
What? Oh.
So I'm like riddled with guilt. So there's a field down the road from his house. The next thing I know, I'm sitting there digging a hole for a dog that I just hit. I'm laugh crying right now because I'm like, it was the weirdest story to tell my wife. So I'm like digging, and then we cover it up. You put him down in there, whatever. He brings like a blanket, puts him. I'm like, I'm a dog person, so I'm like, I'm not going to tell him no. But I felt a little bit weird. I would never ask the guy that just killed my dog to help me bury him at like 9:30 at night. And anyway, so we bury him or whatever. And then he's like, just like standing there looking. And I'm like, I like reached my hand back and just like patted him on the back. And I'm like, I'm really sorry, but I got to go. Never talked to him again. But I just was like, I've just never in my life would I think to ask. Like, I would just be like, oh man, thank you for bringing him, whatever. And I would just take him from him and figure out. But it wasn't even like his field. It was just like the undeveloped field at the end of the street. Now there's houses everywhere down there. And I know that poor little guy was not deep enough that he got mixed up in the excavation one day. But I just was like, I know that's a weird tangent, but it's a funny story and we're talking about humor. So, anyways, did you have any other like kind of like other thoughts or things that you read kind of on that subject before we get to the dumb jokes? Did you have any dogs that you've ran over?
Oh, yes. Have you ever hit a bird?
Yeah, I have.
I think it's the weirdest thing.
I hit an owl in a semi-truck.
Have you ever seen an owl with feathers?
Yeah, they're very skinny.
They're like freaky. Okay, that's it.
Okay, so I've seen this. I wanted to try this. I've seen these skits and these bits all over social media where guys try to do dad jokes without laughing. Some accounts, it's like all they do. So we're not trying to copy that 100%. But so are you going to try not to laugh or are you going to laugh?
No, I'm going to try not to laugh. I thought that was the whole point. I will laugh if you want me to, but if it's not funny, it's going to be hard.
Okay, so I'm trying to think of like one to kick it off. Okay, I think I might start with one of my best.
Are we going back and forth?
Yes, I
Okay.
might start with one of my best ones. So, 2 robbers are robbing a liquor store. One grabs a bottle and says to the other, "Is this whiskey?" And the other robber says, "Yeah, but not as whiskey as robbing a bank." I like that one. Like makes me like lose my breath and I start getting light. Tommy's laughing behind the camera. Okay, your turn.
I bought a ceiling fan the other day. Complete waste of money. He just stands there applauding and says, "Oh, I love how smooth it is." Candace, I told Candace that. She's like, "I don't get it." I'm like, "There's a guy just looking at our ceiling, and he's a fan of the ceiling."
The ceiling fan. No, I got it. Okay. What's the difference between a piano, a tuna, and a bottle of glue?
Difference between what?
A piano, a tuna, and a bottle of glue. You can tune a piano, but you can't piano a tuna. But you're supposed to ask about the glue.
Oh, and the glue?
That's where everybody else gets stuck.
So I'm supposed
You're not very good at accepting jokes.
All right. What's the difference between a rabbit and a plum?
I don't know.
They're both purple except the rabbit.
Where'd you get these jokes? Did you make them up on the way here? Okay, I got
some of them for my my 11-year-old daughter.
Hey, what kind of dog lives in a toilet? You'd think it's a Shih Tzu, but it's actually a poodle. I said it wrong. You're supposed to say poodle. My daughter told me that one. That's compliments of 8-year-old.
Why was a chicken in the road?
Because
It got ran over.
you're so dark. Okay. Okay. Got ran over. Okay. Okay. Ready? Oh, you're gonna like this one. This. Oh, geez. Okay. So bad. I said to the waitress, "Can I ask you about the menu, please?" She immediately slapped me and turned around and said, "The men I please is none of your damn business." Oh, my mom's not gonna like that one.
Why don't dinosaurs talk?
Why?
Because they're dead.
Why are you always involved dead animals? Okay, I got 2 more for you.
Okay.
2 more and then like a consolation one. What do frogs wear in the summer?
What?
Open-toed shoes.
Stupid. That was stupid.
It's another one for my daughter.
Why did the monkey fall from the tree?
Because he was dead.
No, because it was reaching for 2 bananas and fell. It really was. It was dead.
I knew the last 3 have all been dead. You're telling dead animal jokes. We're gonna get PETA like sending us messages. Okay, this one's kind of another story one. Farmer walks into a feed store and buys 100 baby chicks and takes them home. He comes back the next week and buys 100 more, and then comes back another week after that and buys 100 more chicks. The store clerk stops the farmer and says, "You must have a booming business buying 100 chicks a week." And the farmer says, "I wish, but I can't really figure it out. Am I burying them too deep or too far apart?" My mom told me that one. It was like my mom was at a soccer game today with my kids, and I was like, "Hey, I need a really dumb dad joke." And she's like, "Oh, I've got a good one for you." And I'm like, "That's morbid."
It's my kind of joke.
Okay, so are you all out
I
of
am.
jokes?
Unless you
one.
want me to do one I learned in 3rd grade that I remembered because I thought it was so smart.
Okay, go.
Why did the girl mushroom go out with the guy mushroom?
Because he was a fun guy. Okay. Two more that didn't make it to the list. What did Michael Jackson call his denim store?
Woohoo!
Billy Jeans.
So stupid.
And then what do you call a fish with no eye? This one's for my daughter, so you better laugh.
Okay.
I love that we could. I love you guys. We should have had a camera on Tommy. Oh, see, I don't know. I love the side split. My sides literally hurt. Like I'm cramping. I haven't drinking enough hydrate from Mountain Ops, but I wanted to do that because I think that we've gotten.
I didn't realize I had tears.
What was your favorite one?
The first one, the whiskey.
Yeah, I'm glad I started with that one. Is this a little whiskey? Not as whiskey as wobbing up. I hate my laugh, by the way. I get very wheezy. Like whenever I laugh sometimes, like I've gotten comments from people who are like, "Can you breathe? Do you have COPD?"
That's what happened. Was it you? Yes. When we were recording with Trevor with Mountain Ops, when we were doing our short content, I'm like, "Are you okay there? You breathing okay?" Because
like breathing into the microphone.
Yeah.
Yeah, we did some pretty funny content with Trevor from Mountain Ops at the Mountain Ops gym, which is super legit.
Mm-hmm.
And then we did the thing that we were really scared about doing, which was we took some before pictures that are not funny.
That are embarrassing.
So we are now going to be a part of the Conquer 90 program that Trevor does. It starts officially at the beginning of the year, and we'll tell you guys more about that as it gets closer to the end of the year. But basically, because of all of the amazing things that Mountain Ops does, he really thinks that we're going to have some big transformations in our overall physical health, along with mental and spiritual and just emotional health, because when you take care of yourself in multiple ways, it all kind of comes together. But we talked about this literally 2 weeks ago, and he's like, "Yeah, we're going to do some before pictures." And we're like, can we keep our shirts on? And you could tell he was like, "Well, I mean, you can if you want."
Yeah. I'm like, "Do you have some like Spanx or
Yeah.
something?"
But
what did I say during the podcast? I'm like, "But my nipples are drooping."
yeah, I know. And you said that on his podcast too. But one of the best parts is, so we got there to do some content, and I forgot shorts. And so, I mean, it's Mountain Ops. They got workout gear everywhere. But he's like, "Oh, we got some shorts," and he realizes he doesn't have any like big boy shorts. And so he's like, he hands me some mediums, and I'm like, I don't know. And then he finds in like a return pile of like clothes that came back. He found a pair of extra larges. If that was their extra large, I'm glad I didn't try the mediums because schmediums, because that would have been very revealing, because the extra larges were very revealing. I came home and my wife's like, "What are those?"
I'm like, to the room immediately.
I'm like, "You're welcome."
I have lost 34 pounds.
But no, this might be a little bit more of a filler episode, but I feel like this is.
I think it was necessary. I think it's fun.
I think it gets back to kind of some of the roots of kind of how Dad Bods and Beards started, and how Copper John started, and how this friendship started. It's just like, it's the dumb humor and the laughing. Like it brings people together. That's why comedy shows are still a thing. That's why just humor in general and media and entertainment is such a huge thing. It's because it does create this huge release of like tension and like anxiety, even if it's just fleeting, is for a moment. I think it's completely necessary. And that's why I use it a lot in what we do and what I do and what Copper Johns does, is because I
need to do better with that. I just don't know, because on my personal account that you told me I had to create.
Yeah, you're welcome.
I just, like, you told me some stuff. I had a couple other people tell me some stuff.
Yeah.
And it hits me hard where, like I said, I don't want empathy anymore.
Yeah.
But because of the things I've gone through and people tell me things, I literally feel it.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, next thing I know, I'm talking about it and it's personal. And so I'm telling everyone about, guys, don't give up on your children.
Mm-hmm.
Like, love them, and because this is just a moment and you have so much more time. You're 20, you're 30, you're 40.
Yeah.
You have half your life still to go. Like, don't give up now. And I feel like I need to tell people this, and it resonates with some, but I don't do the humor like I want to. But it's just like, that's what's on my mind, and so I just tell people, and I don't know if it works. Like you have your niche, like you have your humor. along with what you want to say. And right now, I just say, and I don't add my humor to it.
Well, like I
It's
told you
hard.
yesterday.
It's
I
hard.
told you yesterday. You'll find your groove, and your social media will like it'll adapt, and it'll mature, and it'll like grow with you as you find different things that that work. And that's why, I mean, I talk about that all the time. Like I have to go. I don't have to. I get to iHub, which is, we've talked about that a couple of times. It's a
I'm going to apply.
yeah, iHub is a an organization here in Utah that helps growing entrepreneurs, and I got to be included in
Mentor.
the mentor program. So my whole platform there is authenticity and self branding, and literally being the best version of yourself on social media, and then letting that be who you are in person too. And that's why I'm glad that you're doing that, is because it's helping you find kind of where your message lies, and it's like you're broadcasting yourself, and your stuff on social media is very powerful, very impacting, and very powerful. And that's kind of what we do with Dad Bods and Beards and Copper Johns and my stuff and your stuff. Is I had this conversation with somebody a couple weeks ago that I feel like this is like, we want it to be like the road trip with your buddy, or like the campfire with buddies. And like, we've all done that, where you've been hanging out with your best friends, or somebody that you haven't seen in a while, or a sibling or someone like that, or even a parent, where you literally go through the whole range of emotions. You talk about the heavy stuff, you talk about like the reminiscent stuff, and you end up cry laughing about a bunch of stuff, and then you end up having some heavy conversations, or you break down walls and barriers. And I almost feel like if we didn't have this name, Dad Bods and Beards, we could call it like, like campfire stories or whatever, just like conversations that you can have when you let the walls down. And that's why I wanted to talk about humor, and I want to talk about, what we put out on social media, is because the whole intent is to let the walls down, to let your most authentic self like step outside, the shields you've put up, because the most connection happens when we let that authentic version of ourselves step out.
Yeah, and we were just talking about this because you just reminded me, like, I still have walls.
Oh, we all do.
Yeah, mine are more. Some of mine are really obvious because I'm very, like very self-conscious about my weight, and so taking our shirts off and taking a picture in front of them, and he's going to post it on their website
With our permission.
Yeah,
We're going to put a big asterisk there.
it's scary.
Well,
well, no, and you just told me, like, I love my shirts. Like, I love flannel. I've always had flannel. Like,
like we work off of you.
it's just who I am. Even if I didn't have a beard, I would be wearing flannel. I really enjoy flannel. I don't.
Yeah.
You
It's your look.
But I buy really big flannels on purpose to kind of cover me.
Oh yeah.
And you just told me, like, you should go down a couple of sizes, and I'm just like,
well, dude,
because it's like, it's scary. Like, I don't know. I've lost a lot, and my goal is, seriously, I told you, 70 more pounds. I'm going to go we're skydiving.
Well, it started as the indoor skydiving thing, and then you're like, I want to go skydiving. I'm like,
yeah, but if
I'm like, can we start with the shirt?
No, but I'm like, there's a weight limit, and I've never been able. Like, I got married at 240. I played football. Like, I was in shape. I had a 6-pack. Everything. Like, I look good. So I'm always going to be bigger than everyone else. I get that.
Yeah, but 240 at 6'3", like, that's pretty slim.
But I'm going to. My goal is like 250, 260, and if we get there, I'm like, I'm going to, like, you and I, we're going to record ourselves, and we're going to go skydiving.
Like, legit skydiving.
Yeah. I say let's do it. Like, we'll go to the Ogden Airport where they have people who do that. You strap on another person's back.
What's their success rate?
100%.
Okay.
Like, their airplanes, on the other hand, once every 2 or 3 years, they land about 200 to 300 yards away from the airplane, and the houses are getting hit.
Shut up.
No, I'm serious. Google it.
Jeez. But no, like, that's I'm glad you said that, because yeah, like, I'm still extremely self-confident about taking my shirt off too. And like I said to you, and we've talked about this before on the podcast, we all look at ourselves through like a very body dysmorphic mirror if we don't like how we look, or we don't like how we feel,
100%.
right? And there's extremely fit people who have like body dysmorphia. But like I was telling you, like, as your friend, from your perspective, Not that I'm checking you out, but I was like, you
Everyone
don't look the way that you think you do when we were taking these before pictures. Like you're very proportional. I'm not. Like I'm 5'10" and I'm 270. So like I'm very top heavy. So I have the garage that's built over my belt right now, right? And when I sit down, I gotta sometimes loosen the belt, especially on a road trip.
And if I do, my pants just fall.
Yeah. But
Which
I
happened.
still need to put that clip up on social media. But my point being is that like I told you, like one of the things is that I was almost someone who means a lot to me and told me nicely that at one point, like, hey, you might want to go up a size on your shirt. I think it's a little bit more flattering if you, because like I told you, t-shirts look a little bit better right now in style if they're a little bit oversized, right? But yet with wearing flannels, because they're so structured, they look a little bit better if they're, like a little bit more proportion fit. And so I was mentioning that to you because I know that self-confidence and the lack of it. I know the game. I know the shields. I know the walls. And so that's what I was saying. I was like, dude, having gone swimming with with the families and having done workouts and stuff like that together and, ice baths and thing, I'm like, I think that you'd be pleasantly surprised how well you would fit in one size down, because I was like psychologically messing with myself because I've been a 2X for a long time,
Mm-hmm.
but then I got gained a little bit of weight and 2X has started fitting a little bit tighter, and it didn't look as appealing. And somebody told me like, just go up one size. And I'm like, oh, I feel better in these. Like they make me feel a little bit better. And I'm a big sweater weather guy. I'm like, bring on the cold because it hides things a lot better when you put a hoodie on. Right. And then I'll almost wear hoodies when it's warm because we all tend to bulk.
I just pictured you as a preppy and had a sweater.
No, not like
Hello,
not like a
everyone.
tennis sweater, like on my social media.
Let's go have some brunch.
Yeah, like Jeeves, bring the rolls.
Bacon, por favor.
Yeah. But no, I think that's obviously a lot of what we talk about here is being vulnerable ourselves and talking about the hard things as well as being able to laugh at the funny things, because everybody out there is dealing with the same thing one way or another and their own version of it.
Do you feel like you could take a nap right now?
Oh, 100%.
I feel like I could just fall asleep right now.
I am roasted.
Like, I feel like I'm so much more calm than I was before I got here, and now I just want to just sleep.
That's the part I didn't read on the psychology today. It like humor, like good hard belly laughs relax you. After that big buildup of all the positive chemicals in your body, and then it comes down. It's like breath work.
Yeah.
It brings up all these really positive high emotions, and then it's like it lets all of the release and dissipate, and then you're like, oh.
Well, because you and I have had I'm not complaining, because mine is more business related and a little bit of personal.
Yeah.
More personal. A lot of business.
It's a lot of things.
Yeah. And it's been a hard week.
It's been a hard
stressful.
month.
And I didn't really like just doing a presentation to someone, to a group of people for Copper Johns and trying to find some investors and stuff like that, because we're growing and I need funds.
Yeah. You're exploding.
And dude, it was really stressful. It still is, and all this, because nothing's been completed yet. Even though it's been completed, it hasn't been completed. Nothing's been signed, so it hasn't been completed. Stressful. So just that whiskey one got me. It's the dumbest joke ever.
Because that's what I'm saying, is that like this is, again, and this is maybe kind of how we'll wrap up. I feel a little bit bad because sometimes these episodes, I feel like they're more for me and you, but then people end up kind of gleaning something from it. That's why I was telling you yesterday and the day before, I'm like, I think we just need to do like a fun episode. I think we need to do like a dumb joke section, because most guys are going to
all I want to do is talk about pornography.
Yeah.
I'm showing.
That was Brad. That was last week. But like most of the time, looking at our numbers and our demographics and stuff like that, most of the time, I'm just going to cruise right past that one. Most of the guys and the people who are listening to the show, it's morning commutes or afternoon commutes, right? Because some people have the ability to listen to things during work, right? Just put your headphones in if it's us.
No, let's revert back to pornography. I really did.
Yeah, I know.
I want people to realize.
I know. I think if they've listened to the show, they get it. But my point being
really,
is
let's talk about a little bit more about pornography.
we're going to have to like censor this episode just for using that word a lot. But my point being is that, did you just snort? Okay. My point being is that
it's so. I think I'm funny.
you just think it's a funny word or something. But like,
no, because it's like such a serious topic, and I just like I'm
yeah. Candace is gonna hate you for saying like.
so my
Yeah.
pronoun.
Start an OnlyFans.
Yeah.
But the point is we wanted to talk about this stuff because I know the drive to work and the drive from work sometimes are like,
When you want to kill someone.
well, you just like, what? Just like angry?
Yeah, because you're in the fast lane. And
You're talking about commuting.
Yeah.
I'm talking about just like that's
just
you're
some
just-
random timeout.
or like,
Just kill someone.
you know. Okay, no more funny episodes for you.
Something's wrong.
It's a lot of.
Tommy, take this word. I'm
No.
being weird now.
So I wanted to talk about that because it's because I know like I would look out for things that were funny on my ways to and from work because I needed to like relieve like the stress and the anxiety and the anger. So I wanted to do this one I think periodically, if depending on how well the dad jokes do, maybe we'll add it in every now and then because I don't know, maybe we'll just call this episode whiskey. Whiskey, it was too whiskey, but
It's dead.
yeah. What's dead?
No, that's all my jokes were. It's dead.
Oh yeah, just dead joke. But my challenge for this week is if you have a hard time finding it, maybe seek out some humor. Or maybe find out whatever your humor is. If you're more like Tyson and it's a little bit morbid, maybe don't look for that. That could be weird.
I don't have a more.
All of your jokes had to do with something dying.
Not all of them.
The rabbit.
The rabbit was funny.
Yeah, it was purple because it probably couldn't breathe.
No. Plum's purple, the rabbit's not. That was the difference.
Oh, gotcha.
They're both purple except the rabbit.
Yeah. So my challenge for this week is to find something that makes you laugh. Whether that's having a conversation with family or friends or someone that you just have a good relationship with, or watch that movie that just always makes you laugh. Mine's Nacho Libre. 100% makes me crack up.
Eagle Hair had no powers.
Give me no nutrients.
Eagle Hair was a lie, Stephen. How did you find me? I saw you from the village. Just like 3 feet away.
So find something to laugh about this week. Kind of
Telling me you've never been baptized.
And then kind of just circling back around, check out copperjohnsbeard.com. Look for the revitalizing hair serum or anything else that might, kind of tickle your fancy, and use code DADBODS for 30% off only this week, right?
Are you like 80 years old?
Tickle your fancy?
Yeah.
I like that term. Tickle your fancy. Of all the weird things you say, that's weird?
Yeah.
No, it's not weird. Check out. Is the
Dad
code,
Bods.
is it this week only?
No, it's so the coupon's always going to be 20, but we're going to make it 30% this week.
Yeah, so this week only.
This week.
Yeah. Okay, check out copperjohnsbeard.com, code DADBODS. You will get 30% off this week.
Pornography.
Okay, bye.
Thank you so much for listening, guys. It means the world to us. If you have a chance, please give us a 5-star review, as well as write something a little pretty in there so that we know that you know that we know that you care. Anyway, have a great day, guys. I can't do it.
Dude, that was good. I like that. You can't redo it without laughing. That was good.